Welcome to a deeper dive where you, the viewers, have the opportunity to do the same work and address the same issues as the guests on Iyanla FIX My Life. Now this week, we saw how the impact of money on a pathology of thinking and being is not always a good thing. We followed the story of Marie, a single mother of 4 who won the PowerBall lottery while working at Walmart and living the family pathology that was anchored in poverty. As you saw in the story, Marie was not prepared to shift from an experience and consciousness of barely making it into an experience and consciousness of wealth. As a result, she made what many thought were bad decisions and poor choices with the money once she got it. And if you follow social media, many people think that she was less than wise when she spent $21 million to bail her fiance out of jail. But there was something deeper motivating that behavior. And that's what we want to dive into and talk about. Now, here's what you didn't see. You didn't see the very long conversation I had with a financial planner who offered some sound advice for Marie on how she could manage and safeguard her money. You also didn't see the full conversation between Marie and her fiancé Lamar as they prepared themselves for his departure to do 7 years in a federal penitentiary. You didn't see all of the people who were on hand to support and guide Marie in her attempt to make this major transition. Now, here's what you don't know. What you may not know is while Marie won $188 million, that is not what she brought home, okay? In fact, after taxes, she brought home a little less than 1/3 of that amount. So all of you who think that what you win is what you get, you are mistaken. The government searches the entire country to find any debts you may owe, and that's deducted. Then, federal, state, and local governments tax the amount that you won. You get what's left, depending on who and what you owe. That may come to about 1/3, but you can do the math. So before you condemn Marie for bailing her boyfriend out of jail and wasting all of that money, just know this, that everything she paid, the entire $21 million minus 3%, was returned to her once he turned himself into the federal authorities. So while she paid out about $21 million, she got most of that back. She only lost about $1.3 million. Now, that's nothing to turn your nose up at, but let's look at what motivated her as a woman and as a mother. See, Marie's father also had his brushes with the law and drugs. He was away for a good part of Marie's life because he was in jail. Now, Marie and Lamar have a daughter together. In my conversations with her, I discovered that her primary motivation was to save her daughter the pain she felt when her father was incarcerated. At the time she paid the bail, there was still hope that a deal could be made that would keep Lamar home. So Marie bailed him out so that he could be with her, his children, and their child before he went away. Now, whether or not we think that was a good choice is not the issue. Recognize how Marie was attempting to avoid her family pathology. In the same way, Miss Marie's mother, Miss Fontella, tried to spare her daughter and help her by not telling Marie that it was her numbers that won the jackpot. Marie was trying to save her children from what she had gone through. You see, what you do not transform will be transferred. What Miss Fontella did not deal with within herself, she transferred to Marie. What Marie felt and experienced that was not healed is now being transferred to her children. Listen, let me tell you, a family pathology is real. It is strong, and it motivates both conscious and unconscious behavior. So before we judge Marie, or before you judge anyone, examine your own pathology. related to money and relationships, because I'm sure there's some things there that you see that have carried over from one generation to another generation. Now, Marie's story is a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of having money without a consciousness of wealth. You gotta have a wealth consciousness. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You see, a wealth consciousness provides for future generations. It also means that you make choices and decisions that allow your money to work for you, since you no longer have to work for money. It also means that you recognize the importance of investing over spending. Wealthy people invest. They don't just spend. Now, I can tell you that when you come into money, after not having it readily available, you are going to lose your mind temporarily. You are going to buy the house and the car, maybe 2 or 3 cars. You're going to give money away in an effort to help those around you. Moving from the experience of being poor and feeling poor into a consciousness of having wealth requires support, guidance, and training. Now, according to the financial planner I spoke to, she said that you also need legal protection, financial guidance, and spiritual support in order to make the right choices to preserve your wealth. Remember, wealth means preparing and preserving for future generations. She also said, as Marie's story demonstrated, that money will intensify and bring to light not only the pathology of the family, but any and all issues related to self-value and self-worth. If you don't get clear that you deserve to be wealthy, that you are worthy of having money, you will unconsciously squander your wealth by wasting it or giving it away. You see, money can improve your life, but it cannot change your thinking. You cannot fill a void in your heart, your mind, or your soul by buying things that you never thought you would have. And when you have lived a life filled by deprivation and lack caused by poverty, money will not solve a money problem. Now, in preparation for this story, I did some research, and this is what I discovered. 45% of all lottery winners end up bankrupt within 5 to 7 years. Now, depending on how much they win, it may even be as soon as 3 to 5 years. I mean, just look at some of the major athletes who end up broke after earning millions and millions of dollars in a very short amount of time. I also discovered that 73% of all lottery winners were forced to separate themselves from their families for at least 3 years after winning. Because when you are the one who makes it out, people want you to buy them a ticket so that they can go with you. And finally, 87% of all lottery winners waste or give away, are you ready for this? 25 to 40% of what they win within the first 9 months after winning. That is deep, okay? So what does that tell us? What does that tell us who may never win a lottery but may create some form of wealth? It tells us that you have to understand the consciousness of wealth, what it means to be wealthy. Wealth isn't just about having money. It's also about having a steady consciousness of value and worthiness. When you want to develop a consciousness of wealth, you have to live like you're already wealthy and plan how to use your wealth. You see, money affords you time to think, time to plan, and time to rest. So, in order to attract money, you must take the time to rest, take the time to think, and take the time to plan. You know what? I encourage you to create a wealth journal. Get a notebook, and every day, plan how you are going to live a life of wealth. Notice, I didn't say how you're going to spend all the money. See, I have a prosperity game and journal exercise. And I'll send you one if you want it. You can write me at Iyanla.com and just put prosperity game in the subject line, and I'll send it to you, because you've got to learn how to be wealthy. The other thing the financial planner told me was you must have a good relationship with the money you have. This includes being grateful for it, no matter how much you have or don't have. It means that you've got to allow your money to work for you. That means saving and paying your bills on time. Listen, let me tell you something about paying bills on time. When you get the electric bill, you've already used the electricity. When you get your credit card bill, you've already gotten the merchandise. So, pay your bills on time, because it's a matter of integrity. Somebody trusted you and gave you something on the promise that you would pay. Wealthy people pay their bills on time. They don't wait, and they don't use their bill money for other things. The other thing about a wealthy consciousness is that you've got to know you deserve to be wealthy, that you deserve to have money, and you have to give yourself permission to have it. I call it paying yourself first. Pay yourself first with what you have. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of what you earn must be used to provide for all of your needs. 10% of what you've earned, I don't care if it's $10, must be saved in an account that you do not touch. And the other 10% of what you earn must be tithed or given to the place and the people from whom you receive your spiritual support and guidance. So 80% to cover the basics, 10% is saved, 10% is given. If you do that consistently and gratefully, you will find your income and your wealth consciousness will increase. Now, here's what Marie's story teaches us. Having money is one thing, but having a consciousness of wealth means that you have to postpone immediate gratification for long-term security. Having a consciousness of wealth, you must provide a legacy for future generations. That means you have to have a good relationship with the money you have, and you have to know that it's not just about buying things. Wealth consciousness is about establishing something in the world that serves not only you, but serve somebody else. Now, you're not going to be able to do that in the first 90 days, okay? But it's something that you must do, even now, to establish a consciousness of wealth. Now, here's what my teacher told me about money. She told me that anxiety and suffering related to money must be unpacked and transformed. And the way to do that is to recognize the 3 myths that this society teaches us about money and don't buy into them. The first myth, there's never enough. How many of us have said that you never have enough money, always seem to be running short? Number 2, more money is better. We think it really is, but we just saw in this story with Marie that having more money did not make her life better. Here's the third myth, that some people can have money and other people cannot, and that's just the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it. These 3 myths create a condition of thinking and a way of being that creates scarcity. True satisfaction in wealth is found in knowing that there is always more than enough, and that you are worthy to have it, and that you're sufficient if you don't. So this story was about so much more than a poor woman winning a lottery. It was a demonstration of the relationship that we have to have with money and wealth based on knowing who we are. So I want to leave you with this powerful affirmation from John Randolph Price, found in his Abundance book. And it goes like this. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe, this all-providing source of infinite prosperity. is individualized as me, the reality of me. And you'll see how your relationship with money and wealth shifts, changes, and transforms. Don't forget, if you want to play the prosperity game, send an email to me at Iyanla@Iyanla.com and I'll send it out to you. See you next time.